A lot of times when you have your first deal and you're looking around for people who can help you, mainly with the due diligence process, it's basically a process where you kind of take a fine tooth comb and brush through all of the financials of the business, the tax returns, profit and loss statements, balance sheets. And then you look at all of the contracts that are associated with the business, right? Employment agreements, any kind of contract you have with any third party or vendor or anyone like that. So you take another fine tooth comb and brush through all of the legal documents, contracts, employment agreements, all of these things. That's what due diligence is. So a lot of times when you are looking for people to help you close your deal and work on it before you get to the closing line, a lot of people that I know, they tend to use third party firms, but a lot of them, they actually use their in-house mergers and acquisitions team or deal team. So today I want to talk about how to recruit an M&A team, aka your deal team, without giving up all of the equity in your company. What is a deal team? A deal team is basically people that are with you. Some call that a board of directors. That's not what that is, right? And some call it your advisors. That can be what that is. And some call it just a deal team. What all three of these things are, a board of directors, they're basically people who are with you in the company and they have some kind of stake in the company, meaning equity in the company, ownership. But typically your board of directors, starting out as a startup company, very small, it's usually your investor, yourself, and another partner. So your board of directors are people who could change the direction of the company. And, you want to make sure that you're not just throwing those titles around willy-nilly. There's power behind those titles, especially if they have voting rights. So that's what a board of director is, right? They have power to change the company. Now, what are you talking about when you're talking about a, advisory team? Well, it's basically what it is. It's a bunch of advisors that have different background that you put together, and they're going to advise you before you make a certain move, right? And typically, well, always, advisors do not change the direction of the company. They can't say, hey, I decide we should do this because of this and that and that. That has no real power in changing the course of the ship, if you will, right? If it were a strong wind, if your directors, board of directors, if they are, a strong wind directing the ship where it goes, your board of directors, they're just passengers. I'm sorry, your board of advisors. They're just more so passengers, kind of like looking out and saying, hey, the weather's like that, 200 knots away, whatever the case is. Be prepared. And it's up to you to follow the advice that they give you. That's who or what a board of advisors is. And then you have your deal team. Your deal team are people who actually, when a deal comes in, they not only advise you, but they work on the deal life cycle. So the deal comes in, negotiate, structure, offer, approved. Then you're sending out your request for documents for due diligence. How long do you have with that exclusivity period? And when do we have to draft up the purchase and sell agreement? Or if it's an asset purchase agreement, how long do you have? Capital raising, who's in charge? So basically a deal team are people who, they put legwork. Everyone else, not really, not so much. Your advisors don't really, put pen to paper and start working or doing projections or anything like that. They just tell you what to do or what they advise. And your deal team, those are the people who physically, right, when you have the deal, they physically look at the deal and they do their analysis. And then you need evaluation done. For lack of a better word, it's a pre-due diligence type of thing that your team does, but also they quarterback the deal, right? Make sure everything is on track just to be able to close on the time that you have in your contract. So that is the deal team. It's very much hands-on. They're active with you, So that's the big difference. Board of directors change the direction of the company, advisors, passengers, and then you have your deal team, guys who are rowing kind of thing, right? Listening to the captain. That type of thing. That's who your deal team is. But they're putting in, the actual physical work into it. Now, why do you need a deal team? Well, you need a deal team because those people have specific knowledge, right? You may have an investment banker who have a background in closing deals, executing them, and you have a CFO/CPA accountant which they are going to verify the numbers for you, making sure that, those numbers are validated. And then you have your attorney, corporate attorney, obviously legal protection, and to analyze or just go over the legal documents that you have. And they also draft the documents that you need as well, right? And then you have your industry experts, which are advisors. So you have one guy or two who have specific industry experience to be able to tell you when you're looking at a certain company if it makes sense or not based on their experience and part of the ways that you're going to be able to grow that company. That's what a deal team is, and that's why you need one. All of these individuals come together, and their knowledge and background kind of shore up your weaknesses that for experiences that you don't have. And those guys you need to actually sell the deal and yourself, the company, to get funding. If you don't have a background in, again, specifically what you're doing, you're going to need that deal team to actually, not just the deal team, but your advisors as well. You're going to need all of these people collectively to help you sell it and say, hey, I have people backing me. We have a management team, advisors. They have experience doing this. It's not just me alone. I'm not a lone wolf or a one-man army trying to pull this off. We are a very experienced team. And when it comes to getting the funding from lenders, if you go that route, even investors, that's going to be a crucial point of getting that funding. Because if you lack that experience, again, those are the people who's going to actually be able to stand tall and shine and say, hey, we have the experience, we know what we're doing. This is going to be a success, right? So that's what a deal team is, and that's why you need one, right? Very straightforward video. So the next one, guys, that I want to talk about is exactly how to build that team, how to build a solid team. Now, remember, if you found value in this content and you want to get what we just talked about in a PDF format because you want to be able to look at it or download it for any reason to keep you on track, so you can actually go to, one place, ibuniversity.org/membership. All right, guys, catch you later.